All right, welcome everybody. Are we ready? Welcome everybody to the May 21st, 2025 council meeting. Tonight we are again like to acknowledge that we're gathered on Treaty 5 territory, which is the ancestral lands of our neighbors, the Opaskwayak Cree Nation, as well as many other Indigenous peoples, and also the homeland of the Red River Métis people. So with that, I will call the meeting to order. So I guess the attendance is, there's only Councillor Allen is unfortunately has a meeting conflict tonight, so he's unable to attend. Somebody should have a resolution to adopt the agenda.
Now, just on the agenda, it was two amendments. Have to add an RCMP letter which we received a request. It's just a routine signing, I think we have. And also on the agenda, if just council's opinion on this underrated camera, we have the caboose. I don't think that's really something he has to be in camera.
Yeah, I don't know why it is there too, but I would say that we don't own that property, so I was just wondering, maybe we should just leave it there. I don't think it's.
We don't own it.
That's the issue. So we're not really sure who owns it, so that's why we maybe should have a discussion in camera before we decide what we're gonna do with it.
Sounds like something else to be so.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll just go with the addition of the RCP request. Moved by myself, second by Councillor Atkinson, resolve the agenda be adopted as amended.
Any comments, concerns? Seeing none, call the question. All in favor? Opposed? Okay, somebody should have a resolution to confirm all those minutes.
Yes, number of meetings here, council been busy. Most of that was dealing with budget. Moved by myself, second by Councillor Atkinson. Resolved that the minutes of the regular council public hearing, budget and special council meeting of April 23rd, 28th, and May 8th, 9th, 12th be hereby approved. All statutory declarations have been complied with.
Any comments, concerns about the minutes? Seeing none, call the question. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay, recognition. I do have one thing I would like to add to recognition. I'm hoping council supports us maybe sending a letter to all of the people that were involved in the fighting of fires that was going on in our communities. And so I kind of drafted something and we can pass it to Vola, but more or less, Mayor and Council would like to share our sincere appreciation to the many individuals, families, businesses, and organizations who stepped forward during the recent wildfire that threatened our communities. It's your efforts, courage, and incredible commitment that did not go unnoticed. The swift and coordinated response from many is a true reflection of the strength and unity that defines our communities and as well as the North. It's in times of crisis, Northerners come together. And in this event, shows us how strong our bond is. We're especially grateful to all the fire departments for their long hours. So Manitoba Wildfire Services, Office of the Fire Commission, the Town of the Pop Fire Department, Opaskwayak Cree Nation Fire Department, Flin Flon Fire Department, Snow Lake Fire Department, Creighton Fire Department, Minnetonka's Fire Department, and their communities. And I'm sure there might be a few others. I would also like to recognize our staff who were all involved in ensuring that things behind the scenes were being taken care of and put in place. Although we weren't in the direct emergency at the time, but our staff was well prepared and ready to respond. I would also like to recognize the support of our local Manitoba Hydro crews, our RCMP officers, our Manitoba First Nations policing, and all the conservation officers, because we know that they worked many hours to keep people safe and evacuate people and block roads and all that sort of stuff. And also, finally, is that, although they're not on the front lines, the support from our communities, families opening their homes, businesses offering meals and supplies, and in just general, everybody talking about, sharing the words of encouragement, to keep, everything positive and moving forward. And the final thing, in this letter, what I would say is I would like for us to recognize the strong collaboration between our tri-community, the Passway Cree Nation, the Yarmouth Kelsey. We did come together and we're as true partners. So, thank you for your commitment and the Northern spirit. So, I would ask council, if council is okay, with that we can pass this on to, our CAO and move it forward.
I'd support that. It just maybe an addition of some sort, some comments in regards to individuals who lost their homes, equipment and livestock. Just for our thoughts are with them. Hope they have a speedy recovery and reconstruction and all of that.
I echo that. It's a great idea.
I'll add something in there and send it to Paul. Anybody else, anything? So this would be in appreciation from mayor and council, not the mayor. Everybody's okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so I will pass that on. I'll update put those last comments in there and I'll pass that on to Bola. Okay, anybody else have any recognition? I had some notes in my last meeting. I have to open up. I guess one, I would say it's kind of been a while now, but we had that great watch party, that was held in the parking lot of the Roy H. Johnson Arena. And, it was well attended. And from the feedback that I got, it's something that, we should really be considering in the future. It was quite an event, and, hats off to the Blizzard organization for really putting on a good show there.
It was fun. It was a great idea.
Anybody else have any recognition? Okay,
I'm just gonna add one, we did see the letter about the Harley rig being used on the back lanes.
Yeah.
My back lane was recently done as well, and I am really impressed with the results we're getting, so.
Yeah.
It will be a good addition to the community for all the citizens of the back lanes to appreciate. And, good work on Public Works, getting on it now and
yeah,
they have definitely made a difference.
no, that's good that you brought that up, Councillor. I forgot about that as well, so. Good investment in our community. Anything else from anybody? Okay, seeing that, we will move on to citizens period. One thing I would ask, if anybody objects so that Gabrielle doesn't have to stay here the entire time. Does anybody object to moving her presentation from committee of the whole to citizen period, and we can just, I think everybody's read through it.
What's it worth to you?
I was here the last time.
Okay, I think there's no objection, Gabrielle. So just come on up and just introduce yourself, and I'm sure council has read through the very detailed procedures.
I'm Gabrielle Swan. I'm here today as the chair of the Destination Marketing Committee. And I'm here to review any questions that you guys have about our amended operational guidelines. We worked very hard over the last year and a half to get this to a place that we felt like it was ready to present. And at our last meeting, we voted on line by line of this operational guideline where we all felt comfortable putting this forward to you. Does anybody kind of want to kick us off with questions? How would you guys like me to present this?
Well, I guess I would say council, I don't want us to go through line by line because I believe council have had this for a few weeks, so they should have. If anybody has any general concerns, I think that it's a well-placed document, but I'll leave it to council first to mention anything.
Commend you. Good job.
Thank you.
Lots of work put in.
It's a group effort. I can't take credit.
I think you've covered all the bases.
I'm glad that this has happened. It's been a couple of years. I feel like you guys have been trying to make everything balanced the way that you've wanted it to balance and make it an even playing field for everyone. So good job on all of this.
Thank you.
Councilor Marsh, and then Councilor Forster, Councilor Commodore.
It looks good, looks like a lot of it, that's done.
Yeah, we do appreciate a lot of the work that was done to put in there, and I think we've had some discussions in passing, you know. It's great to get that structure, and, you know, we want you, the committee, to be successful, to be investing the money that we're collecting from our accommodation tax back into our community. That's driving what's in our bylaw, and as long as that, we're meeting that, you know, as long as we're meeting our bylaw, we're happy with what you're doing. I think the only comment I think I mentioned before was the capital, like, I would just say, don't get too restrictive, because if you have a good project come up, you don't want a document to stop you from doing something right, so, but
For
it's
sure.
always adjustable, but well done, and I don't think there's any question.
Okay, awesome. The one other thing that's not in the document that I just wanted to bring to council, because it was my understanding that I'm supposed to bring it to you guys before we make any decisions. Right now, we have a chair, myself, and a secretary, when that position is being filled by Crystal Cross. The secretary position is extremely heavy, and it's a lot of work for someone. We were wanting to subdivide some of the work into a new title that we would call treasurer, and basically that person would be in charge of going through the grant application budget, and then when we receive the final reports, they would be matching the expenses to ensure that that matched the budget that they had proposed. It's not really a true secretary or true treasurer position. Obviously, we have the person in the town that we work with to actually manage the funds. This is more about from an accounting standpoint when we're doing the checks and balances with the applications and the successful applicants. Are you guys comfortable?
My comment on that, and the council can jump in, is we don't really, I don't think we really have much input into how you want to organize the committee. If that's sort of a task that you want to carve out, then so be it. And like I said, our main focus is to make sure that we're collecting the accommodation tax and make sure we're distributing it as per our bylaw. And if you're, however you organize yourself,
Okay.
you guys are good to go. And
Okay,
we do appreciate the number of hours. I know it seems easy to give away money, but I know it's not that
it's
easy when
really
it
not.
comes. You have competing priorities and everybody has their own ideas, so hopefully the structure helps you get to the decisions quicker, faster.
Okay, perfect. And then if the group wants to expand the efforts in terms of like Airbnb and things like that, and approaching people at the lake who have private properties that they put on Airbnb or more RM status, does council approve with us getting, not us collecting, but being able for you guys to collect funds towards that so that it's more of a tri-community effort?
So one thing with Airbnb is there's a couple of aspects, but I did, after our discussion, and I've heard about that, we're gonna bring that forward to council, and we'll let that be a council discussion, because I think we need to talk about it, but if there's an opportunity for us to write a bylaw to do the right things, then we'll do that, but I think it's sort of not appropriate right now because there's not enough information in front of council to make that call. As mentioned, I know the administration is already working on Airbnbs with regards to taxation, which is a legislative new legislation that was passed in Manitoba this year or last year. So the community has submitted the Airbnb list, and we hope to have that implemented in 2026. I think that's what's the plan.
Okay.
So yeah, so stay tuned on the Airbnbs because yeah, there's that, it's an interesting concept.
Perfect. Just looking for more money to give away.
Yeah. Yeah, well, fill those hotels all the time and you'll be good.
Anything else from anybody before I go to my dinner?
No, thanks a lot.
Have a good vacation.
Thank you.
And please pass on our thanks to your committee. We do know it's not that simple and it's easy from the outside, so appreciate all their hard work.
Awesome. I will let everybody know if they're not already watching.
Okay,
Let's presume they're watching.
yeah,
Have a great evening.
yeah, thanks, see you.
All right.
Okay, no other citizens here, moving on to bylaws. Resolution,
Resolution number 2025-084, moved by Councillor Manage, second by Councillor Commodore. Resolve that bylaw number 4656, being the bylaw of Town of Paw, to provide the regulation and control of animals within the limits of the Town of Paw, and to repeal bylaw number 4635 to be read a second time.
And I believe, Counselor, this is really just the change, updated for the fines and fine, or the fees schedule that goes along there with this, right? There's been no other changes. That's what we're doing. So, is there any questions with that? Seeing none, call the question, all in favor? 6-0 against and carried. Okay. Second reading, or third reading.
Resolution number 2025-085, moved by Counselor Manich, second by Counselor Commodore. Resolved that bylaw number 4656, being a bylaw of the town of Paw, to provide the regulation and control of animals within limits of the town of Paw, and to repeal bylaw number 4635, be read a third time and be passed.
And again, this is the same as the last one. This is a recorded vote now. Is there any further questions with this bylaw? Seeing none, call the question. Myself, I'm in favor. Counselor Atkinson,
Aye.
Counselor Hopper, Counselor Forster, Counselor Commodore,
Aye.
Counselor Manich,
Aye.
and then Counselor Allen is absent. 6-0 carried. Okay, bylaw 4657 resolution.
Moved by myself, second by Counselor Hopper, resolve the bylaw number 4657 being a bylaw in town of the Paw to provide the licensing and regulation of businesses within the limits of the town of the Paw, and to repeal bylaw number 4552 be read a second time.
And I believe this is the same sort of change from the last one to remove the fee schedule.
I just had one comment. I made the comment at the last meeting regarding it. I feel that it is still an overstep, and there's a reason, multiple reasons why. But an example that I didn't give at the last one was our current building bylaw, for example, states that you must be a red seal plumber in the town of Paw. If we're issuing licenses to people that can't then do work in the town of Paw that would relate to plumbing, we should not be issuing licenses, much in the same way as restaurants. Again, I would like to just see the regulations of health inspections or food handling just removed from the bylaw and just make it, we are giving you a license to operate a business and nothing more. Because we don't have the ability to enforce, we don't have the ability to follow up and ensure that we're in compliance, which would make us possibly negligent. So I would like to see that language removed and simply be, we're giving you a license to operate, all other regulations are on other parties. That's my only concern with it.
Any other comments? Okay, so seeing none, call the question, all in favor? Opposed? So we got 3 for, 2 against, are you saying? Yep. Abstained. And, I think it's carried, but we'll have to double check that. I don't know what those. I think it might be carried, but I'll say it's carried right now, but I may have to revisit that because I'm not 100% sure on the rules of.
Yeah, I'm not sure what abstaining.
Yeah, I think it might be a negative vote, so I think, yeah,
It's carried.
it's carried, okay. Okay, so second,
Third reading.
third reading.
Resolution number 2025-087 is a recorded vote, moved by myself, second by Counselor Hopper. Resolve the bylaw number 4657 being a bylaw in town of Paw to provide the licensing and regulation of businesses within the limits of the town of Paw, and to repeal bylaw number 4552 be read a third time and be passed.
Okay, recorded vote, same thing, no further discussion, I'll call the question, myself, I'm in favor, Counselor Atkinson,
Aye.
Counselor Hopper,
Aye.
Counselor Forster. Abstain, Counselor Commodore,
No, sorry.
and Counselor Manich.
Against.
So 3 for, 2 against, and it's carried. But we'll have to, I'm one abstained. Okay, next one for cemetery, 4658.
Resolution number 2025-088, Moved by myself, second by Counselor Hopper, resolve the bylaw number 4558 being a bylaw of the town of Paw to respect the dedication, management, and regulation of Lakeside Cemetery, and to repeal bylaw number 4633 be read a second time.
Same thing, adjustments to the wording. Any comments, concerns? Seeing none, call the question, all in favor? 6-4-0 against, and carry.
Resolution number 2025-089, which is a recorded vote, moved by myself, second by Counselor Hopper. Resolve the bylaw number 4658 being a bylaw of the town of Paw to respect the dedication, management, and regulation of Lakeside Cemetery, and to repeal bylaw number 4633 be read a third time and be passed.
Any comments? Seeing none, call the question. I'm in favor. Counselor Atkinson,
Aye.
Counselor Hopper, Counselor Forster, Counselor Commodore,
Aye.
Counselor Manich.
Aye.
6-0 carry. Okay. Financial tax plan, or financial, oh, sorry,
Waste management.
oh, sorry, yes, 4659. My
We just
apologies.
did one hearing video.
Yeah, I know, no, I did.
Resolution number 2025-090, moved by Counselor Manich, second by Counselor Commodore. Resolved that bylaw number 4659 being a bylaw of town of Paw to provide waste management system within the town limits of town of Paw, and to repeal bylaw number 4559 be read a second time.
Okay. Any comments, questions? Seeing none, call the question, all in favor? Opposed, none, carried. Okay,
Resolution number 2025-091, moved by Counselor Manich, second by Counselor Commodore. Resolved that bylaw number 4659 being a bylaw of town of Paw to provide waste management system within the town of Paw, and to repeal bylaw 4559 be read a third time and be passed.
same thing, any further comments? Seeing none, call the question. I'm in favor. Counselor Atkinson,
Aye.
Counselor Hopper, Counselor Forster, Counselor Commodore, Counselor Manich.
Aye.
6-0 carried. Alright. Okay, financial plan this time, we can get back to my thing.
Moved by myself, second by Counselor Atkinson, resolved the council approve the 2025 financial plan as presented by bylaw 4660 being a bylaw, the town of Paw to impose and levy property taxes to the town of Paw for the 2025 fiscal year, be read a second time.
So we've done lots of presentations for the community, lots of work's been put in there. I think we've explained the value of this going to our community members and their returns. Is there any further comments or questions with regards to the 2025 budget? Seeing none, call the question, all in favor? 5 against? 1 carried. All right. Second, third reading.
Self, second by Counselor Atkinson, resolved the council approve the 2025 financial plan presented by the bylaw 4660 being bylaw of the town of Paw to impose and levy property taxes to the town of Paw for fiscal year 2025. Be read a third time and passed.
Any further comments with regards to the budget?
Long straightforward, Joe.
Councillor Auburn?
I have a few, and this is just based on the last, second reading. The financial plan was already tabled, 2 weeks late in submitting it. Not all members got exactly what they wanted in the budget. That's a given. The persons to vote against, or as a late last meeting abstain, when you abstain, that's a cop out. You were elected to be transparent, state your reasons why, and for an individual council member, with all due respect, if you didn't get 1 or 2% of a multi-million-dollar budget and you risk the fact of having it defeated, where the town could not operate, to me, it's irresponsible. I think in most cases, council agreed in 99% of the things that were in the budget. We were very respectful of our ratepayers. We continue to put money in most areas, reserves, equipment replacement, staff development, capital projects, and so on and so forth. And our goal at the start of all this was the 0% increase. And we nearly obtained that within I think we're within 1% of having a 0% increase in taxes. I would hope all council members would respect the idea of being transparent and open and either vote in favor or against. And if you do vote against it, and you feel that you've got, that's your right, of course it is, explain yourself. Instead of just voting against it or even to abstain on what grounds? You're here, did you miss too many meetings? That's why you have to abstain, you don't understand what's going on. That's the impression that people would get. I, for one, support it, I'll vote in favor of it. I would take the chance of holding up this, our most important document is our budget. Without a budget, the town stops. We're, as I mentioned before, we're already two weeks late. With all due respect, instead of mumbling about why I don't want to support it, be transparent and say, I don't support the budget because of this. I didn't get my 1 or 2%, but I want it. But I'm willing to take the risk of having a multi-million-dollar budget fail. That's all I have to say.
Any other comments? Seeing none? Okay, I call the question, is a recorded vote, so I'm in favor. Councillor Atkinson,
Aye.
Councillor Hopper,
Aye.
Councillor Forster, Councillor Commodore,
Aye.
Councillor Manage.
And still against.
One, carried. Okay, zoning, town of the Paws zoning bylaw. Or sorry, 4660.
4660.
Or that was, sorry, that was the financial plan, so we're at 4661, yeah.
Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Forster, resolved that bylaw number 4661, being a bylaw of the town of the Fall, to amend town of the Fall zoning bylaw number 4599, be read first time.
So we've been talking about this is to be able to update our zoning, bylaw to reflect what, having animated signs and such in the community. From, the issue sheet, I think that our staff has prepared. They, have used other communities, and have, made a recommendation to, make that adjustment. Is there, I know we have staff here, if anybody has any questions for staff, we're welcome to, why don't you come on up, just in case there's a question. Is there any, questions, with regards to this resolution?
I just had the one question. The information I have on my agenda, you had mentioned that was updated. There was some issue sheet. The issue sheet that we had is kind of the older one. There's actually no recommendation from you. It's kind of like, these are what other communities have done, but there's no direct anything for us to vote on other than let's change language and get direction. So
yeah, so the recommendation at the last time we sat down to speak about it was regarding to allowing animated signs in certain parameters. And the update that was sent to council under the zoning bylaw amendment, you can see that we're requesting to add the language. So obviously having a definition for the word sign and animated sign, so stating what that is, and then the table that we'd be adding to the zoning bylaw. which will instruct, those to come after us, the areas in which we're interested in having these things, and then some basic parameters surrounding, what we would look for in allowing an animated sign. And they would have to be on a case-by-case basis, because there's so many potential factors that could play into this, so. Just the parameters of how we would go about doing this, and then, once if this gets the blessing of council and is passed, then we can start the amendment process for the existing appropriation process.
Any other questions for? Seeing none, call a question, all in favor?
Still don't know the information, so
It just, okay,
it's not loading because it was an update an hour ago and I'm not getting that information.
so are you opposed or?
Which one?
Well, they're saying that amendment's been made. The issue sheet was kind of the old information of what they were hoping to do, but no recommendation from what I had.
Yes,
There's no new recommendation on.
So we're in the middle of a vote though, guys, and there's questions called, so we'll have to, let's catch this on.
But what is it we're voting on? And that's what I'm asking. We don't have the.
Well, I'm taking the recommendation that what our staff has just told us, that amend the bylaw as reflected in that write-up to be able to allow signs to be used within, animated signs to be used within our community. And that there's still a variability where it can still be a case-by-case basis. So that's what I heard. I believe that's what we're voting on. So we're in the middle of a vote. I got 5-4. This is first reading anyway, so it's gonna be back to the table. Those against? Abstained?
I have to abstain at this time because I don't have, again, the last information I have is looking for direction from council. I'm sorry. I know we've talked about it, but I don't have clear definition of this is what we want to add, this is what we want to take with this, is what we want to amend. I don't have that amendment in front of me, just the talk out, that's all. I'm sorry.
Fair.
I'm in favor of definitely changing the zoning bylaw to be clear.
So, yeah, so let's make sure that whatever we're doing, whatever's changing in the zoning bylaw is in a document for the second and third reading, so we have a clear understanding, because again, we're going to be voting on this again anyways. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, okay, just gotta get back to where I'm at here. Department garbage bins resolution.
Moved by myself, second by Councillor Forster, resolve the council approves purchase of 2 metal hand-approved trash cans, Fish Shack, in the amount of $7,000 before taxes and shipping costs.
We've talked about this quite a bit, so I think this is pretty clear that this is for those watching, this is to put better garbage bins down at the Fish Shack to avoid the birds and others and people using it as a public dumping spot for their garbage. So hopefully keep that area clean, less maintenance, so.
And just add on that, I think one of the areas down there, we've had issues before with the garbage. We have talked about doing video surveillance to see who is using it or who is abusing it. So, I mean, that's in the works as well. So anybody who's listening, put your garbage here to find another spot.
Okay. Okay, so any further comments? Seeing none, call the question, all in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay, fire service mutual aid agreement.
Moved by myself, second by Councillor Forster, resolve the council authorize chief administrative staff to sign a mutual aid agreement between the town of the Fall and the Pasquia Cree Nation Fire Services.
Pretty straightforward. We help them, they help us, and in the case of a big event, there's still some transfer of funds if needed. There's a few bit of language in there for that, but is there any further questions on this? Call the question, all in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay, community safety officers operating agreements updated.
Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Forester. Resolved that council authorize mayor and 3 council members to sign the operating agreement for a community safety officer program with the government of Manitoba as represented by the Minister of Justice.
Again, let's just update our agreements. We have to update the community safety officers program, which is signed with the province. Is there any comments? If not, seeing none, call the question. All in favor? Opposed? None, carried. Okay, financial plan submission extension. Should probably did that first. You get sit.
Resolution number 2025-098, moved by myself, seconded by Councilor Commodore. Whereas council changed council meeting dates due to unforeseen circumstances, and whereas these dates changes affected the timing of the passing of the 2025 financial plan, which is to be submitted to the Minister of Finance by May 15, 2025. Therefore, be it resolved, the council requests an extension to May 31st, 2025 from the Minister of Finance to submit the 2025 financial plan in accordance with section 162.5 of Municipal Act.
All support this, technical document. All in favor? All questions? 6, 0 against, carried. Okay. Fire Department Command 1 repairs.
Resolution number 2025-099, moved by myself, seconded by Councilor Commodore. Be it resolved that council approves the repair of Command 1 in the amount of $6,036.37 plus taxes to repair the command unit.
It's talked about in budget meetings. Any further comments?
That part wasn't talked about in the budget meeting. It was talked before budget session happened. I'm just wondering is that an additional expense or is this coming out of budget? It's just being earmarked as part of the budget. Is this an additional expense? Because this came out after our public hearing, after our first.
It's not an additional one.
It's not additional, it's coming
What would
out
have
of
been
this.
an additional one is if council approved purchasing.
Yeah.
So we have just spent, this is what we have left.
This is not additional spending. This is just out of operations or out of.
This is
Within the
what-
budget, within the 2025 budget.
Yes, this is what we have left within the budget. So it will have been an additional one, suppose council wanted to purchase.
Unless council, yeah, unless the other.
Okay, as long as it's not an additional expense, considering there's already a $250,000 addition to the budget. I just want to ensure that it wasn't another 6,000 coming after our first reading.
Okay, any further questions? Call the question, all in favor? Opposed, seeing none, carried.
Would like to also see the winter tires come off the truck. As per regulations of Manitoba Highway. 3 weeks past due.
Yeah.
Okay. Payrolls and accounts.
Yes, pardon.
Resolution number 2025-100, moved by myself, seconded by Councilor Commodore. Be resolved that council authorize the following account, pay period number 9 in the amount of $119,063.70. General check numbers 32481 to 32535 in the amount of $112,930.37. EFTs in the amount of $503,422.85.
Any comments, concerns?
Just one question, I didn't see the check register on the, what is recap leasing, a couple of payments for that.
The Scott Air Parks, or the Scott Air Parks, the supplier, SCBA's.
Payments.
Yeah, that's the only payments.
Gotcha. Next.
Any other comments? Call the question, all in favor? Opposed, none, carried.
CSBA rental.
Okay, personnel merit increase resolution. Somebody should have that.
Resolution number 2025-101, moved by myself, second by Councilor Coleman. Whereas PAO evaluated the management staff for 2024 performance with Town of Paw. And whereas PAO recommended an increase of 1.5% for controller and an increase of 2% for the assistant superintendent. Therefore, be it resolved that council authorize an increase of 1.5 for the controller and an increase of 2% for the assistant superintendent effective March 2025.
So based on the policy we have, and the evaluations, our CAO is recommending this. Any other questions? Seeing none, call the question, all in favor? Opposed? Okay, reports and committees. Museum board, Councilor Commodore.
Okay, it was a very, very, very busy meeting and I'm not gonna go through all the details. I'm just gonna give you the main highlights. The exhibition that it's gonna be coming up, it's gonna be June and it's not written in stone yet. Ella Duncalf, she's gonna be doing an exhibit on her work. We have a curator, she accepted the position.
Oh,
She
good.
just has to find a place to live. So now we have a person going to do a little fill-in before she gets here. That's been okayed by the controller. And we're doing a membership drive. It's a little behind the 8 ball, but it's coming. And they'll be selling memberships to the museum, and whoever buys a membership, there will also be a prize given to a random pick. We got some, unfortunately, some rejection letters from Westova. That was not, green team. There was a rejection letter there. And it was, there was lots. He got approved for a grant. Get it to the next person, I will find it.
For Jackson got the $6,200 for Canada Day
That's what it is.
fireworks, yeah.
Yep, that's what it is. Okay, thank you. I think he sent that to council.
No, it was good. No, he, how I found out that he's on the Canada Day committee and
Oh, okay,
I
yeah.
found out through that, so.
I just-
What was the
I
email?
have it written somewhere.
Okay, anything else in the museum?
Nope.
Chamber?
Of course, the big one was the trade show. It was well attended, approximately 1,700 attendees. They're unsure if that includes children as well, because of course there's no fee for children, so we're not sure if the count includes that, but anyway, it was well attended. Nice to see some new exhibitors. There was 53 attending, which is great. Focus now is to get kind of wrapped up for the summer season. We'll have our last lunch and learn on June 4th. That'll be hosted at the library annex, presentation by Derek Sanderson. And hope to see some come up for that. $15 for lunch.
What is the topic?
The topic is basically creating a safe space for two-spirited LGBTQ community. what the presentation will have. I'm not sure if he's representing himself or if he's representing the group in the community.
Okay. Anything else?
That's the main thing. There's lots of talking about if we're gonna have the golf tournament this year or not. But really it's just wrapping up and, slowing down for the summer.
Okay. CDC, there's a meeting scheduled this month, but I don't know what time it is because I haven't talked to Jonathan for the last week or so, so we'll find that out. I know there's a lot of activity going on behind the scenes on the development. And you'll see some stuff on our agenda later today. Destination marketing,
I don't even know when the next meeting is.
I think it's quarterly, isn't it?
Yeah.
Cedar Lake,
I attended Vision Quest, Indigenous Trade Show last week. It was fabulous. It was the 28th annual. Minister Smart attended, Grand Chief Garrison also brought his warm welcome to the event. There were multiple learning workshops that were offered throughout. One of our locals, past Chief Christian Sinclair, was on a learning panel. It was great. Vision Quest never disappoints. We had the night of the gala. The regular person who was scheduled to be the comedian for the night, unfortunately, couldn't make it due to another commitment, and local comedian who no longer lives here, Chad Anderson, stepped up and made sure that nobody was disappointed. So it was great. Look forward to next year.
good. Recycling board,
Meeting tomorrow here at 6 o'clock.
library board, Councilor Allen's away, KSD committee. Haven't heard anything about that. Youth, counselor is not here today. Okay, anything else that council wants to report?
Upcoming meeting with KSD, or is that finished? Or we're still?
No, there has, unless you've had, the two of you, pardon me, the two of you, that's not your names, the two of you. The assistant superintendent, unless you've had further communication with,
No, we went there
No,
to discuss
okay.
another matter with the humidifier and, we have, control over, the ESD still working on, a solution back to us.
Could we check on with them? See if we can get a meeting to.
because at this point, even though the agreement has expired,
It's so-
there's a clause in there that it rolls over, and
Have a meeting and make no record.
I'll send you an email.
Any other things?
Cedar Lake's meetings are, next week, Wednesday and Thursday.
2 days.
Yes, there'll be like, one is a half day Wednesday afternoon, which is for some of the committees, and then the regular board meeting will be the Thursday morning.
So just, any other updates that anybody from council has? I know, for myself, a couple of things, I spent a couple of, mornings in the school, with Miss Bremish and Miss Groudland's class, getting drilled by questions from grade nines about, what we do as politicians and community leaders and that type of stuff, so it was very engaging, and I think a great way to engage our youth into, becoming future leaders within, the community, and so I had some interesting questions I should have shared with you, but, everybody wants to know what's going on with the Lido. Everybody has the same community safety. They all want bowling alleys and all that sort of stuff. And so it was really good. They also want to know what everybody gets paid, and how long you have to do this for, and what's the funnest part of it, what's the least funnest part.
Has to do it
So
for.
you're saying you might have intrigued some, more likely you dissuaded some.
No, you know what, I think, it's us as council and as community leaders, we should always be trying to encourage our youth and other, people to run for elections and get involved in the community. We also, spent an entire day on May 7th, with the Community Safety Wellbeing Plan. I don't know if anybody's remembered that program, but we've, got that group that's working with, whatever, Center for Safer Communities and something like that.
Community safety and wellbeing.
Yeah, anyways, they're getting very close to wrapping that up. They've got, all the feedback, all the plans. The steering committee is working on actioning those plans, and they will do a presentation to council as well to get our input and feedback. I'm just not sure when that's gonna happen, but likely in a couple of months. And, yeah, that's it for now, I guess. Other reports, I put the Northern Caucus meeting minutes that I took during AMM. So I hosted this meeting, with other mayors and other communities in the north. I think if you wanna really see where, what get some value out of it maybe is around the finding common ground. So, I think there's some things that we could put together as resolutions for the Northern District meetings, maybe for next week, about sending messages around, or letters to the premier on ensuring we have adequate, equal and adequate, access to healthcare. We also, there was some discussion about, policing and about, the hours of service of liquor stores and how it was done in Prince Albert, and they actually seen a decrease in crime when the municipality closed the liquor store on certain days, and restricted the off sales of alcohol in the evenings or something. And I don't have any details. That was just a comment that was made there. There's economic development, so as common ground for the north, I mean, we know we're talking about Provincial Road 10, 66, 283. I think if you look in our community, we should not forget about 287, going to the lake if we want future development with regards to industry or trying to develop that land out at the lake that we have around the airport. And I also look at that road, and I don't know the number of it going to Grace Lake, but we have a airport hub out there that has a pretty terrible road to approach, and maybe we need to start doing some advocacy around that. Some discussion around food insecurity and about basic needs. So there was a lot of discussion around what the new world is looking at. And so the next steps were to develop a collective letter with the Northern Healthcare for the June district. So we'll have something there for that. Prepare a resolution on food insecurity. So I have drafted something, and I've reached out to Flin Flon, because Councillor Allison Funk, I think is her last name. She's got a lot of experience with that. So, and then explore advocacy for disability grants and hub policing support. So
Sure, there was some upbeat comments on having a federal government minister representing our area.
we weren't at the end. I don't think the election was over yet, by the way.
That was just announced in the past 10 days.
Yeah, I think the election year still, yeah.
Anyways, hopefully that proves out to be good.
So I think, going forward, I think that was a valuable time used at AMM where we can get all of so we had Snow Lake and Flin Flon, Thompson, the Paw, sort of all in the same room, and we got an opportunity to have some discussion, so it was good. Next one's just the report from linkages. Anybody has any comments? Q1 report from the airport. Any comments, concerns with that?
Yeah, I have the airport manager here. If you have any question, I also distributed this. If you see it,
Yeah.
it is kind of summary of our gas sales from January up to May 21st. So If you look at the report, this is for quarter one, which is Q1. And we had a meeting already, so if you have any question, we have Trevor here online.
Just one comment to Trevor, you undershot your sales for fuel, looks like this year.
Well, we we always have a slower start to the year, but unfortunately and fortunately, unfortunately for the community, but fortunately for the airport, the months of June to July is where we make the bulk of our sales, and the early start to the season this year, those numbers should bump up pretty quickly here.
Well, yeah. Look for something positive in a bad situation. I don't have any comments or questions. Is there any highlights that you want to share with us, Trevor, that we should know about?
So
from your
we
report?
from the report, no, the report is pretty standard. The only thing that's really outstanding on there is the installation of the obstruction lights. We're having trouble getting a lift truck out to the airport to get those installed. We have secured someone from Flin Flon. Now it's just a matter of getting that person on site to actually do it. So that's all from the report. So other than that, no, the report is pretty straightforward.
Yeah, I have one comment though. I see that we've got approved for all those grants for not this year, but 2026, 2027 sort of thing.
Yeah, it's looking really good for our electrical submission. As of right now, they've accepted in its current form. That's not a complete acceptance of our submission.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so we should know hopefully within the next couple months of whether or not they're going to approve the $3.6 million project that will be fully funded by them. Now on the other side is the equipment submissions that we put in, which is about, I think, about $1.6 to $1.8 million, which is for a new loader, a new grader, and a new plow truck. Although they've accepted them, right now the focus is on infrastructure of the airport, not necessarily equipment. But they haven't said no to the equipment. So if there's money left over come September, October, is where we start talking to transport again, asking if there's any funding that's left over that no one's claimed or that no one's spent. And we may get one, maybe two pieces of equipment if we're lucky. So although they've said no to it, we're still hanging on hope for that for at least one piece.
Trevor, being a northern airport, is there any opportunities for us to advocate through the provincial government on any other programs out there?
Yeah, so Manitoba is starting to look at catching up to what other provinces are doing with their airports and aviation in general for the areas. So I know there's a lot of advocacy taking place between different aviation councils, aerospace, for the Manitoba government to start putting in a little bit more money towards the airports. We are actively looking for whatever funding we could get. Even as it pertains to lighting through Manitoba Hydro. And BOLA is really good at sending out notifications of potential funding. So we are actively looking. Right now, to answer your question quickly, no, the provincial government does not have direct money that goes to airport infrastructure.
Okay, any other questions?
Trevor, do you know what the delivery turnaround would be for a grader if we were to find out in the late fall?
The turnaround. So we've been in discussions with CAT already. They have units on site here in Winnipeg. So I mean, if we put out the RFP, get the 3 submissions. I know CAT has one ready to go, or Tormont, sorry. Tormont has units, whether it's a grader, whether it's a loader. And then for the plow truck, Abby Smith has trucks available. So that would probably be, for the plow truck would be about a 3-month turnaround. For the other 2 pieces, it would be pretty quick.
Thank you.
And all of these you're not doing trade-ins, the other equipment that will be coming to the town?
Yeah, so if we were to get these brand new pieces that were ACAP funded for the airport, that would come directly to the airport. Any other equipment that was at the airport that the town could use, it would be given free to the town. I know we're also talking about we have a tow behind spreader that Sam, I think you're smiling from the best I could see on camera
That was
here.
my next question.
Uh, I think I saw Sam smiling, which come and get it.
And can you talk a little bit, Trevor, about the maintenance that are going on at the airports?
Sorry, say that again, Bola.
Like the maintenance that are going on at the airport. Do you want to talk a little bit about it?
Yeah, so with the warmer weather and the early melt, we started doing some of our cleanup and some of our maintenance around around the airport itself in general. So some tree removal, putting up some new signage, removing some of the Christmas lights and some of the temporary lights that were around the airport. Looking into next week, possibly first week of June is where we're going to start looking at painting the outside of the terminal completely. Will and I just have to decide on the colors that we're going to put up, and then our team is ready to go. They're actually excited because it gives them some pride in the airport, because the paint is peeling pretty good, and we want to replace some of the pieces of wood that are rotting. And once that's all done, is where we want to also look at putting some new signage up, and we think we can do that pretty cost efficiently. There's some great ideas out there that I've seen that we're gonna put forward, such as like a stainless steel, the paw, maybe with a little bit of illumination behind it, so as you pull up, it looks illuminated from the back. So there's a lot of good areas out there. The one area that I'm gonna ask for help for is the road entrance sign. I like the sign that you have at the town, at City Hall there out front. Where I believe it says Town of the Paw, and it has that wolf on the front. I'd like to stay with that if possible, and maybe have the town have the Paw Airport type of thing, with the same logo. The other thing that Bola and I have kind of tossed
Just
around.
one second, Trevor, before you get away from that, I got a question. Why can't we just take that sign down and bring it out to the airport? The one that's sitting out in front of the building that says welcome to downtown or something.
I think that was from the Chamber of Commerce.
Oh, it's the chamber owns that sign?
I don't know if they own it, but I believe it was just sort of like welcome to it's sort of at the downtown entrances to our thing.
And that was a question I asked you, like, this is Town of the Park, should be logoed rather than welcome to downtown.
Yeah, like it seems like it ought.
And I was thinking that it should be like two-way sign rather than one way. You can only say when you're going, the other way is like round or something.
Yeah, anyways, sorry, Trevor.
No, this is a great
Trying to get you a
conversation.
sign.
I love it. So the other thing that Bola and I discussed as well, on the success of the local hockey team, is having something out there to recognize that, for travelers as they come into the Paw Airport, recognizing the success of what the locals have accomplished. I mean, that's
a great idea.
So.
You know what, I think, I don't know if you're covering this in your report or you've already mentioned it, but I was at the airport flying out a couple of weeks or 3 weeks or 4 weeks ago, and I found it to be quite a dull space. I think there needs to be some color and we need to, really get that museum arts, whatever we're planning on doing to help you guys kind of spruce the place up.
Yeah. And I think that's Bola was being really nice, and I think that's what she was alluding to when she was saying that we need a little color in there.
Yeah, no, and again, this is not on the airport, not on you guys out there. It's just something that we've got to sort of try to organize from here. And can we get a Sam Waller? I know they've got their sounds like they've got staffed up now, and that was one of the holdbacks where we could get a Sam Walter display out there. And sort of have those cases and sort of display some of them. I'm sure if we talk to the Blizzard organization, they would support something that would go in there for sure. So no, that's good.
Fantastic. That's a great idea. So, I'll talk to to bowl a little bit more about what that would look like if we had the blizzard involved with some type of artwork.
Yeah.
So
Good.
after
Anything else?
Yeah, so after our big three projects here, the electrical and the equipment, sorry, the two big projects. Next we'd probably be looking at maybe some type of pavement funded through ACAP as well. Anything that we can get from the federal government to enhance our airport. I mean, the lighting will be great. But next should be pavement. And so, come next year, you may see me come with a presentation of how we'll get funding maybe through our current airport budget of doing an assessment on our pavement to get them to pay for it. What I thought was going to be about a $250,000 kind of shave and pave is actually about $1 million. And that's not really within our airport budget. So we're probably going to put that on hold and see where we can allocate maybe a little bit less money to make our tenant happy, for their customer experience. So you may probably in the next month see me come for some money from the airport capital fund for the lighting within the hangar spaces and the Babcock hangar space, our main tenant.
No, sounds good. Okay, any other questions? Seeing none, thanks a lot, Trevor. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Thanks for hanging out with us for a bit.
Thank you.
Anytime. Thank you.
All right, take care.
Bye.
Okay, so moving on, outstanding issues. Everybody have a look at that. One suggestion I have on this though is, when we add an item, it should have a date that it's been added. Not just the date of every meeting moves along, because then we have an understanding of when it was added, how old it is, and then it also, it does a couple of things. Is that you're either deciding to forego the benefits that you've had for that long, or it was never really worth doing in the first place, so we should just drop it off the list. So we should, anytime we add anything to the action list, we should add the date it's been added as well.
Last meeting, we had mentioned, because on December 16th meeting, we said we'd revisit the Sharps conversation,
Oh, yeah, okay.
and that's not on here again.
Yeah.
The Sharps discussion was directed to come back after 90 to 100 days, and it's now been 150 days or whatever it might be. So it'd be nice to see that and revisit if there's anything that we can do or would like to do or have a discussion about at least.
Let's just put it on the agenda for next meeting? Or maybe not the next one, because it's a short turnaround, like, we'll have to talk about that, but.
Yeah, and no issue she came forward because there wasn't direction in the December meeting to say, let's bring it forward.
So let's, can we just put it as a discussion item on our, not the next meeting, but the meeting after, just, Sharps as council managers put down.
So not that I'm opposed to bringing this back, but what my question is that if an issue sheet is brought forward and it's decided that we are not going to discuss it or take it to resolution, then why would it appear on the sheet? Why would we not need to bring like another issue sheet forward?
Because on December 16th, we said, let's revisit this in 90 days. Therefore, the direction was from that issue sheet that we would discuss it further 3 months
I
later.
don't think we voted on that to bring it forward back in 90 days. Like,
Well, I think
that's
we
my
did.
thing, is like, we didn't vote.
I don't know if we voted, but I just,
The direction from the mayor.
I believe what the discussion was, it was in committee of the whole. And we talked about that as a point. And because there was other things going on within the province with regards to Sharps, we said, let's park this and we'll revisit it in a couple of months. So, yeah, so I think we just, wherever that last issue sheet was or however it came up, let's just get it so we can frame the discussion. And again, it goes to a committee of the whole. We're not making a resolution on anything, but if somebody's got some ideas on what we can do to improve the situation in the community.
And I think that's what it was you said there was something in the pipeline that you were aware of in discussion.
Yeah.
From what Swan River had done. You felt there was going to be some productive discussion within the next month. That's why we shelved it for those 90 days.
Well, for sure.
The only other thing that, maybe with the superintendent here, when the Skippy L left, we had talked a little bit about self or safeguarding the the cradles or whatever you want to call them, the display cabinet. Are those planned on getting removed so the project is complete, or are we leaving them? What is the
The
plan?
excavator had a very tough time even moving what was there, so I think we're gonna have to do a major demolition if we're gonna.
I thought like if you broke them in half with your jackhammer and then, that's what I'm wondering. Either way, there has to be a way to remove them.
Yeah.
They look something unfinished, just something else.
So let's get an update on that.
I will add it to outstanding issue.
Anything else, that anybody sees on here? Okay, general course, nobody here for having a general correspondence, so. Canadian Craft Paper sent us a letter, so I think everybody's read that, sent it to the tri-community, really about the unfortunate failure they had on a large tank within their operations. So they're currently down because of that and other maintenance work that they've pulled ahead to try to get cleaned up so that they can get back running the week of June 16th. My understanding is they bought a significant amount of pulp, like I would say millions of dollars worth of pulp to hopefully be able to produce some paper without the other half of their paper operation. So that's just for information if anybody's looking. Any comments on the financial statement for Tri-Community, Tri-Com Recycling?
No, tomorrow it's on the agenda for tomorrow.
Yeah. Tri-Community Pride Parade request was approved by our CAO, which is great. I think there's been an invite out to council to attend if they're available. I don't remember what the date is off the top of my head, but I think it's July something. June 7th, June?
Yeah.
Let me just quickly check because I think I put it in my calendar. Oh, I didn't. Anyways, it's, we were all invited. I think you got an email on that, but. Okay, so no other community members here for citizen period. We're moving into committee of the whole. The first thing is the arena cells.
So that we now move
Oh,
our
yes.
thoughts into the committee of the whole with Mayor Murphy and the chair to discuss matters requiring our attention.
Okay, so, arena cell booster, I think this is in our budget, and this is what we plan on doing, so I'm not sure how much discussion we need on the details. Let's just bring forward a resolution and let's get it installed. My only question I would have, so that's for 9750. My only question I had, and I learned this during the chamber, well, did we miss out on a free Wi-Fi grant that we could have got for youth? Like they were saying, I was talking to an individual that there was a grant that was available to communities that could set up in their community centers like arenas. That's free access to the internet for people. It was like in March or something, but it's too late for us now. I just,
Yeah, there's up to $35,000 available. I had actually shared the grant, to put in a web booster and have internet in our areas instead of just a cell booster, as I pointed out when this first discussion came up. But yeah, it was completely funded to have internet available in our community.
it's too bad we missed out on that. But yeah, I think council already supports this because it's in our budget, so, move forward with that. AMM's, Northern District meetings up in Thompson, so let Bola know if you're planning on attending. So she can get you booked in there. And you can look at the agenda.
That's same.
I know I'm gonna need some help. Destination marketing, we've already discussed that, great work that that committee has done, there's no other questions. Moving on to QIC committee's issue sheet from Councilor Manage.
Yeah, I brought an issue sheet forward. It's almost embarrassing having to bring an issue sheet forward. It was simply a request to have an email answered, that was ignored. Therefore, thought it should come to council. My request, due to comments made in this council chamber, as well as to appreciate and get a full understanding of what is happening in the town of Nepaw. I think it's important, as per the municipal act, that if you're available, they should be attending meetings and ensure they're having all the information available to them. That was the purpose of the issue sheet.
So your suggestion is?
My suggestion is I would like to know the scheduling of QIC meeting, because that's according to the municipal act. Any council member can attend those, and
So can we, I guess we'll leave open at council for discussion.
Yeah, the council manager is correct. Any council member can attend, can't participate.
exactly, yeah. Yeah, they're basically an invited guest. Yeah, but it's good to have the information because there has been some discrepancy for information. I mean, it went as far as having Councillor Atkinson tell me that I'm being lied to, so if I'm in the room, it makes it impossible for that to occur. So it'd be important to take part where available. It's not a matter of scrutinizing or questioning or ignoring things. It's just a matter of having the information available to you to the best of your ability. It allows us to make the best decisions.
Okay, I would like to comment if council.
Sure.
Okay, I've already checked that. When I received the issue sheet, I make sure that I have them on the agenda. I have actually had some discussion with MSO. I needed to get a clarification. I did check the Municipal Act, section 152, subsection 2 as well. I read that, but I needed clarification. And I don't want to kind of giving you the wrong information or the information that I'm not sure about. At this point, I'm recommending something for the council to hold off on every QIC meeting until I get the clarification from the government.
Do what, sorry?
I want to, I'm recommending we should hold off for all the council QIC meeting until I get the direction and the clarification on on what quorum is and some other clarification for subcommittee like this.
So AMM hasn't been able to just say, yes, they can attend, as Councillor Hopper mentioned. Yeah, he's of the understanding as well that you can attend, but you're a guest. You're not taking part, you're not giving direction, you're basically an invited guest. Because any meeting by the town of Nepaw, unless it's personnel or is an in-camera session, is a public meeting.
Yeah.
Anybody is allowed to attend, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So what that then we need to add, we have to add, I'll just add to what Councillor Manich is saying. Then now it's a public meeting, we need to advertise it. So our schedule needs to be set, it needs to be advertised and open to the public. So if we're going to do that, to follow the municipal act to a T, as our policy says, all council can attend any meetings. But because it's a scheduled meeting, and it's a meeting that council has set up, it's open to the public and it needs to be advertised properly. And so I would recommend that either we wait to hear from some confirmations from BOA, that would I suggest that we should listen to what our CEO is telling us and let's hold on. And once we get the clarification on that, let's follow the rules. I personally don't see any reason why anybody can attend any meeting. It doesn't matter to me.
Well, I would agree, hold off. Having them set up as you're suggesting, and which is the correct way to do it, if you're gonna set up a meeting and advertise the date. Functionality of those committees, in my opinion, will not be as good as it is.
I completely agree with you.
And if that would be the case, I would say, having a meeting, we'll bring the individuals forward to council. We want to discuss something with the department head, we'll do it here. Or we can pass on the questions to the board, and the board can take those to management.
So,
We're not gonna micromanage.
and I think, I think if you look at the original issue sheet that I submitted back I don't know how many months ago, years, maybe might have been over a year ago. That was the original discussion where we split our staff up and they attend council meeting and provide us an update on what's going on in their areas. And this is where it evolved as well too. So if we're going to need to do either, I think what we should do is just wait to hear what comes out of from BOA. And then once we understand that, we will go from there. So does council recommend putting everything on hold until we can get some clarification?
Yeah,
If that's what's necessary, then that's what we do.
Okay. Perfect, all right. Recycling committee issue sheet. Counselor Hopper would like to see his, time at the committee go, so,
Like to recycle.
yeah, so if you look at the board sitting there now, you know, Counselor Hopper, maybe you can join the CDC with me or something. I don't know if everybody else is happy with where they're at. But, there is a spot on the CDC that we can appoint Counselor Hopper to.
Good. Take that.
And somebody else, I can sit on the recycling center by myself for now and see what it's like. I've never been there before, so.
I'll say this, we can bring this up next,
Yeah.
council meeting. In the meantime, we'll stay recycling.
Yeah. So if anybody's got any major passions to wanna leave or move, bring it forward.
Resolution.
Yeah, we'll need a resolution to move Counselor, appoint Counselor Hopper to the CDC.
And I noticed on the sheet there, I'm not on the KSD one, I haven't participated, so I
Yes.
have to read on that.
Yes.
So I should put on the sheet, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think you're just missing off the sheet that you're a part of it. 100% you're a part of it, can't
Can I read the resolution?
No.
No,
No.
no,
It's already
it's
there.
just missing from the sheet.
Okay, anything else? There's no other personnel. We're going into camera for the residential or we're going into camera, so we appreciate everybody tuning in tonight and you know, all the hard work that everybody's doing for our community. There won't be any resolutions coming out or any decisions being made in this in-camera portion of the meeting. Have a great night.
Resolved that we now move ourselves into the in-camera portion of committee